Take a look at that. What you're seeing there is the US Navy directly warning vessels coming from Iran, trying to pass the Strait of Hormuz, warning them to return back immediately, turn around or prepare to be boarded. This is the voice of the US Navy warning them directly. And guess what? Today, they returned back 9 vessels coming from Iran that were supposed to pass through the strait and head to other part of the world. They returned the 9 of them back to Iran. And according to the US CENTCOM, they have confirmed that there was no military confrontation, which means the vessels obeyed and went back obediently. Now listen to the US Naval Command as they were speaking directly to those vessel captains. Listen.
The U.S. has announced a formal blockade of Iranian ports and coastal areas. This is a legal action. All vessels are advised to immediately return to port if leaving and discontinue transit to Iran if that is your next port of call. Do not attempt to breach the blockade. Vessels will be boarded for interdiction and seizure transiting to or from an Iranian port. Turn around and prepare to be boarded. If you do not comply with this blockade, we will use force. The whole of the United States Navy is ready to force compliance. Now,
from Iran, look here. See that? What you're seeing happening here, you know the bridge. You remember the bridge Israel bombed when the war was still ongoing. You remember the bridge, right? Iran has rebuilt it in 4 days. 4 days. Iran has rebuilt that bridge. That bridge is supposed to be carrying it's supposed to be a rail line, right? And they've rebuilt it in 4 days. 4 days after a bomb hit it. This is not the main bridge that was destroyed by the US directly. This is the one Iran blew just towards the last days when they were already planning to strike the power plants. That's the bridge. They rebuilt it in just 4 days. That's it to tell you that Iran is ready. Currently, Iran has now come to reality of life, that they need infrastructure to thrive, not just missiles, not just drones. They need their infrastructure to be functional for their economy to work. Now, another report from other flanks, especially from Iran, is that the president of Iran has cried out, stating that Iran is weeks away from collapse if the US does not remove the blockade against them. No nation, I said it before, no nation can survive naval blockade. No nation in this world can survive naval blockade. Now, another report is that while the presidents are actually requesting for negotiation, they even said publicly that they are open for dialogue. They are willing to go back to the negotiation, but that the blockade should be lifted. In 2 days, they've lost $1 billion. In 2 days, just 48 hours of the blockade, Iran has lost over $1 billion. Now, while the president, the people who are reasonable and pursuing the democratic process or diplomatic process to resolve this matter, the RGC, that boy that runs his mouth, he said that they came out and were threatening the US, telling them, if you don't remove the blockade, we are going to block the Red Sea. We're going to use the Houthis to block the Red Sea. There is a particular choke point there again that they call the Mandev, something like that. I've forgotten the name, sorry, pardon me. They say they are going to block it. Just the way the Strait of Hormuz is, they have another strait there. They say they are going to block that one if the US does not lift the blockade against their country. Now, because of this, the US has visited Somaliland. The US sent AFRICOM, that's the US African Command military faction, has visited Somaliland because it is closer to that particular water. They said they are doing this in preparation for what the Houthis will be doing, that if they ever try to do that to close that strait, they will be carrying out military operation against the Houthis from that part, from Somaliland. And Somaliland has agreed to provide the platform for the US to conduct this military operation in case if it is necessary. And now, because of this alliance between the Somaliland and the US, there is going to be another advantage. This is a big advantage anyway for the United States, and especially the US African Command military. Is going to help them to manage some pressure that come from Houthis in Yemen. Now, while this is going on, the US has also come out to deny any form of agreement to extend the ceasefire against Iran, with Iran, right? They said there is no consideration for that. Now you're going to listen to the lady anyway. And again, they also stated categorically that China has now agreed they will not be supplying weapons to Iran, and that they will also not be buying oil from Iran right now, even though since 2022, report shows that China has not been buying oil from Iran. But guess what? they've been buying this oil secretly using sanctioned, ghost shadow vessels. They call them shadow vessels that doesn't carry any flag. So they use hidden vessels to buy oil. They buy 90% of Iranian oil all this while, but it has been in secret because they are avoiding Chinese sanctions. But listen to the Americans.
Yes, so I saw some reporting, again, bad reporting this morning, that we had formally requested an extension of the ceasefire. That is not true at this moment. We've remained very much engaged in these negotiations, in these talks. You heard from the Vice President directly and the President this week that these conversations are productive and ongoing, and that's where we are right now. I've also seen some reporting about the potentiality for in-person discussions again. Those discussions are being had, but nothing is official until you hear it from us here at the White House. But we feel good about the prospects of a deal. The President mentioned that in his interview yesterday, and it's obviously in the best interest of Iran to meet the President's demands. I think he's made his red lines in these negotiations very clear to the other side, and so we are continuing to see how these conversations go. Do you have any update on that, Mr. Secretary?
I don't have an update on the tariffs, but I do have an update on sanctions. Iran is used to be the largest state sponsor of terrorism. China was purchasing more than 90% of their oil, which is about 8% of China's energy needs. We believe this blockade in the Straits, there will be a pause of Chinese buying, but I will tell you that 2 Chinese banks received letters from the U.S. Treasury. I'm not going to identify the banks, but we told them that if we can prove that there is Iranian money flowing through your accounts, then we are willing to put on secondary sanctions.
I mean, he's somebody that needs oil. We don't. He's somebody I get along with very well. He just wrote me a beautiful letter.
He wrote you a letter?
Yeah, he did. He responded to a letter that I wrote because I had heard that China is giving weapons to, I mean, you're seeing it all over the place, to Iran, that China's
Did he
giving
say he's
weapons.
giving them?
Yeah, and I wrote him a letter asking him not to do that, and he wrote me a letter saying that essentially he's not doing that.
Okay.